Namaskar, I'm Ashok Vyas, and inside tonight is Ashok Vyas recording with Paresh Shah today. And as I sit with you, I feel elated that you have successfully completed a race called Spartan, that is a 5K sprint race. So we'll talk about Spartan and how the spirit of overcoming challenges is important for each one of us. Whether you look at what is happening in the world and how you respond to it, it takes some inner stamina to withstand all the questions that are loudly coming for us through newspapers as well as in our day-to-day life. So before we move towards Spartan, Pareshji, talk to me about the importance of fitness. So when we say fitness, we are not talking about overall fitness. Most of the time we are looking at physical fitness, and in the scheme of our day-to-day life, it takes a backseat. Many people don't pay.
That is 100% correct, Ashokji. It was the same with me 4 years ago. Busy with work, busy with career, busy with appointments and social life, and I did not pay any attention much to my physical fitness. I mean, I was what we could define as a couch potato. Maybe did a little bit of walking on the treadmill time and time again, but not really into fitness and exercises. And there were challenges, small challenges, minor challenges had begun to creep in because of age, and those were I was taking the route of what is normally done, that is would take the medicine that the doctor would tell me to do. So I did not really pay too much attention to any of these things. But eventually we were struck into the pandemic. And what the pandemic did for me was that all the travel that I had and all the social life that we had and all the engagements, weddings, birthdays, get-togethers, everything was cut off of our life. So that gave us the initial opportunity to get a very precious commodity back into our life, and that was time. Once we had that time in our lives, then we could start thinking about these things. An incident happened. I lost my mother in early pandemic in April of 2020, and during the stages of her illness, the doctor would often speak about the fact that she'd had diabetes for many years and how it was now affecting complications in the present illness that she had. So those were some of the factors that were playing in my mind at the beginning of the pandemic when I first started taking a few steps of action towards my health and fitness.
So there is something that reminds you about the need to be physically fit. In the case of Paresh, as he shared one unfortunate instance of having lost his mother, led him gradually to realize the importance of physical fitness. But we don't have to wait for anything to happen. We need to see the benefits of being physically fit. And I'm reminded of a saying, Paresh, where they say that if you eat brinjal and you tell others don't eat, तो हिंदी में मजा ज़्यादा आएगा इस बात का कि आप गुरुजी बैंगन खावें और दूसरों को उपदेश बताएं. तो मैं उसी तरह काम कर रहा हूँ, but that's what my job is. I mean, I'm not very sincerely following physical fitness myself. But as I speak to him, I tell myself also that with you, I will also think more in that direction. So there is another side to your journey towards this Spartan. And I remember you mentioning that you became regular in going to gym.
Yes.
So I also signed up once for 3 years, and they miss seeing me most of the time. But
it happens.
It
happens.
So how is it that you once started, and whenever I was talking, you said I get up at 5, I go to gym. How that routine of going to gym became a part of your day-to-day life?
It started with what I told you earlier, that it started with a desire to be better. And that desire led to action on my diet front. So when we talk about fitness, there are two aspects normally when most people relate fitness to weight loss.
Yes.
Okay, and weight loss is the first step, because those who have excess weight loss, if at all they try to do fitness things also, then they are going to end up actually damaging themselves. Versus, so you have to go gradually about it. Now, weight loss is something that, in my humble opinion, and I don't have too much experience, but from what I've seen about myself, is 80 to 90% about food intake, not about your exercise. So it began with trying to get my weight down, with getting my diet under control, and along with it came the
Forgive me to interview. This is another problem. Diet control coming with the experience of having tasted delicious Indian food, or probably any other place that you love eating. It is a very difficult proposition to have control on diet. So you need very, very strong willpower, if I say, or a kind of determination. And I if I know you a little bit, you also love sweets. So how how did you manage to have restriction on your diet?
Getting rid of the sweet spots was difficult, but in my mind the easiest. Because as I told you, my example is from my mom's diabetes. So if I didn't want to go down that path, I had to stop my sweets. So that was, but the other parts of our regular diet, it took an examination of everything. And I can say one thing, Ashokji, that there are lots of parts of our food eating habits which we can eliminate, and yet at the same time not eliminate the taste and the enjoyment of the food that we do. So I'm again not talking about, there are so many different concepts out there, and again I want to be very clear, it is what suits everybody. But you can do some simple examination of what you eat from morning to evening, and if you say that there are certain portions of it you don't like or don't enjoy, or even from your plate, and or at one meal, if you don't enjoy a certain portion, or can choose to eliminate just those few portions, like if you rank all that you eat at a meal into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and keep the top two parts and remove 3, 4, 5, automatically your quantities can go down. This is my experience. This is what I did.
So,
because I just
Sure.
close with one thing.
Yeah.
I cannot resist good food. Today also, if a nice plate of paneer sabzi is in front of me, I will enjoy eating it. So
Enjoy eating is good actually. I mean, it is meant to be eaten and enjoyed. But then, as they say, that you eat to live or you live to eat. So if you live to eat, then how long will you be around? So if you eat to live, then you need to pay attention to what Paresh Ji just mentioned, and I am telling that to me also. So not just you, but Paresh Ji, earlier you said that if someone is considering weight loss, 80 to 90% it depends on what you are eating. It is not just your running or walking. But people think that if I walk 10,000 steps a day and I'm done, I mean, but it doesn't result into weight loss.
see, the 10,000, so there is a basic part about the metabolism. When you do your workout, it does improve your metabolism. That means it improves the burning rate of the food that you eat. However, that cannot be increased drastically immediately. Let's say a person goes from walking today, of walking say 20 minutes every day, to walking 1 hour every day. That doesn't mean that his internal metabolism will change to 3 times in that period of time. A lot of it also has to do with our genetic structure. We are not necessarily genetically so endowed to have the highest possible metabolism rates. So there is a lot of other factors. So this belief that, if I improve my exercise, I can eat more. I do not personally, in my opinion, concur with it. What I do believe is that once you're in to you're out. I mean, at the end of the day, it is a balance sheet,
Calories.
Yeah, if you are bringing, if you're earning $10 and spending $11, then you're going to be minus $1 in deficit. In the same way, if you're burning $10 and you are intaking $11 or 11 calories, then 1 calorie is going to remain excess in your
So
system.
here's the thing: when he compares it with dollars, I mean, saving dollars is fine, but
Saving calories
but
is not
saving
fine.
calories may not be. Because it kind of adds up when it starts becoming visible. Oh, okay. Now you gain some weight. When five people tell you that now you gain some weight, you feel bad, and you come home, and if you are like me, you start eating more. So how to how to counter that? You need some mental discipline. And let me underline. You earlier mentioned that it's about feeling better. So feeling better about yourself has something to do with your physical fitness. How it reflects into your work ethics. Most of us are engaged in some creative or mental activity. So having the discipline of going to gym or having some physical activity, how in your personal experience affects your ability to think coherently, or how, what is the relationship between the two?
Initially, it's a hard relation because initially, when you start your workouts and you start doing things, you can really get exhausted. So, initially, actually, when you go for the first some time to the gym on a regular basis and start increasing it, you will find that your days are actually you're feeling more lethargic in the afternoons. You're trying to tend to get sleep a little earlier. But all those things eventually tend to optimize themselves in the sense that in the hours that you're present, you will find that you will be able to accomplish more. And there is that bit of satisfaction of having completed something. One of my very close friend, a gentleman by the name of Tim Claremont, he has a saying which he says, "Eat the live frog first." No, naturally, none of us eat live frogs. But what he means really by it is that do the task that you don't like, but which is most important to you first. So for me, that's going for my workout. Even today, doing the exercise getting to the gym is the most difficult part of my morning. Getting to the gym is the most difficult part of my morning.
Coming back is not difficult.
Going back because you're done, basically. So, but once you get started, you do your workout.
Okay, so very briefly, if I may request you to share, once you are at gym, what do you do there is also related to the way your instructor has given you. If there is anything, like many people buy this elliptical,
Yeah.
and then they do it at home, etc. So, what is the exercise and the equipment that you feel is most relevant to stay fit?
I do not think there's a one size fits all. It's what you enjoy, what you want to do. I know some folks who who began with just like me. I began just when I initially started in April of 2020 with this journey. I was just doing treadmill and a little bit of weights, maybe 5 minutes or 10 minutes of weight, but I kept doing more and more on the treadmill. I was walking, then I started increasing the amount I walk. In between, I started doing a bit of running. As my weight came down, I could do running, so I could do more and more. So initially, as you know, if you start doing, if you're not done it for a long time, and even if you try to run, you cannot run. By the time you take 5 steps, you're tired or you're panting, so you cannot run. So it had built up. So then when I reached a certain point, and fortunately for me, at that time, for the first 10 months of me doing exercises, outside gyms were not open only. So I had to do whatever I had to at home. There are lots of regimes, there are lots of methods to do it. You have to find what suits you and what you enjoy.
So, I mean, when you say what you enjoy, some of us would say, I don't even enjoy going to gym. So what I enjoy is I'm doing. So just that's lighter side of it.
It's not the lighter side of it. There is one person whom I've spoken with. He says he will not go to the gym. So what he did was he got some pieces of equipment in his home to begin with, and then he dedicated it that. Then after that, he got a subscription to this online coaching, and he has a TV inside that gym room from where that coach teaches him. And he has a camera also, like we have cameras on the phone through which the coach can see what he's doing. And he started doing that. He said, I won't go to the gym, but I will do my workout. So today's time, fortunately, we live in an era where going to the gym is not the answer, but figuring out what works for you is the answer, I think.
So as we talk to Paresh Shah ji, who recently completed Spartan, and we'll very soon talk about that. But the spirit to overcome challenges adds to your self-confidence.
Yes.
And sometimes having something to do with physical fitness is also a very, very physical and palpable and tangible kind of a task which you can look as a sort of challenge. Like if you don't walk and you walk, you start walking maybe 2 miles, 5 miles, whatever it is, and after you do it for n number of days, you feel good that I did it. So that would also reflect in your personality, your approach towards life, how you feel at work, or if you're a student, how you connect with your studies. The spirit of overcoming challenges. In your experience, does your regularity with gym help you in having that kind of a mindset which is willing to take challenges and work towards overcoming them?
It makes the task a little easier, because what workouts really do for you is every day you're trying to get incrementally better. And if you get incrementally better, like as an example, you do something 10 times repeat in the gym, and then you're completely fatigued at the end of 10 times, but then you start doing it, you're able to in few days take it up to 11 times and 12 times. So you can see yourself incrementally progressing till you hit a certain target. So all the rules that are there in life kind of come alive in the gym. That you got to be regular, you got to be slow and steady in your build up. You are not going to jump from A to Z in a single day. You got to go through B, C, D and through each stage, and that kind of gives you. And when you reach those goals, or when you cross those thresholds, it gives you the confidence that if you follow processes and do things steadily in your regular work also, then you will hit milestones. And we were discussing about some aspects earlier, how there are certain steps which need to be taken, which are initially very difficult. But when you take those steps, then the next steps become easier. So that's what it's all about. Today I'm giving one more example. At the end of that race that I did, and having seen my own pictures at the end of that race, I felt a sense of accomplishment, and I also felt a sense of that. No, I want to get better, or be at this or get better. I don't want to reverse back to where I was, and that kind of is also in a way an accomplishment where what you do afterwards when you finish that one part and want to progress to the next part, but you're ready in your mind that this I don't want to regress. I want to progress. That is the sense of accomplishment.
I think that is what I'm kind of trying to connect with you, for me as well as for our viewers. The spirit to be better and don't slide back. So from that point of view, the idea of participating in a race like Spartan, if you don't have that in you, you won't go there, of course. But if you have people around you who are telling, no, you won't be able to do it. I mean, come on, what are you thinking? But look at your age and look at the hurdles that are a part of this Spartan 5K sprint. Don't take a chance. You may end up hurting yourself. Those kind of ideas may also come. But there could be other kind of ideas where people are encouraging you. So talk to me how it affects on the psyche of the hero. The hero meaning the protagonist, or the one who is the decision maker.
It's like everything in life, Ashokji. You got to cut off the noise, and listen to the people who are your supporters, your helpers, your guiders. Know whom to go to. For me, the big supporters were my family, of course, my wife and my son. They both, from the day I decided to do it, they were encouraging. My coach was very encouraging. When I first thought about signing up in February of this year, March, I approached him and says, will I be able to do it? And he was like, yeah, you should be able to do it. We may need to train a little extra over the next 2 months, but whatever little shortcomings you have, we should be able to finish them. And so you need those set of people. And yes, you're correct. Actually speaking, sometimes concern for not doing it, concern for you personally, may also be a reason why some people might not want you to attempt it. So it's not necessarily that they mean bad. It's just that they have their own vision or paradigm, or their own limitations that they are looking at, or their own experiences, or their experiences that they've seen. Right? Today I'm at the other side without injury, so I can say that, yeah, I should ignore everybody. What if there was an injury? Then it would have been, I would have been counted as a foolish person.
Not to
So
hear them. Yeah.
not to have heard the people who were guiding me. So, and hearing some people who were just encouraging me unnecessarily. I'd say these are chances that we have to decide we want to take, and progress comes from getting out of your comfort zone.
So here's the thing: if you toss, it could be head or it could be tail. It could be either way. But that is not the case when you prepare well. The chances that if we say this is head that you successfully completed are more if you have prepared well. So as your coach also helped you prepare for the race, let us hear about what is it that is a part of this 5K sprint Spartan.
The Spartan, they are basically a series of obstacle courses done either in an open environment or in a stadium environment. And in these, there are 3 levels of races. Sprint is the shortest and the quote unquote the easiest of the lot. It consists of about 20 obstacles done over a 5-kilometer or 3.5-mile course. And in that course, it's on open terrain, so it's got muddy areas, etc. But then there are the obstacles, like you would have to jump over a wall, or climb over a wall, or a hurdle, or you'll have to carry some heavy weight, or you'll have to swing across some bars, and things like that. So there are 20 obstacles that are there in this path that of 3K, of 3 miles that they have set for you. And
so did you prepare to take care of these obstacles which you knew that this is likely to be as a part of the race? So was there any way for you to prepare?
There were ways, because these days everything is available online. I mean, from last year's and last 2 years, you could see the whole course, you could see the obstacles, you could see the videos. This year was going to be a little different. Of course, as usual, they changed it, tweak it around, but the basic obstacles were all the same. Having said that, I think that you do need to prep, but I necessarily did not prep for doing the race. I prepped for overall ensuring that my strength would last through these obstacles. That's the way my coach approached it. My coach said, let's not go into a complete path where we are specifically preparing for these obstacles, but let's see that your general strength and fitness and conditioning is good enough that when you come to the obstacle, you will be able to do it. Now you know visually how that obstacle is because of the videos that you watch, but I actually never jumped over walls, or I actually never carried bucket full of weight on my shoulder. But there were exercises that trained me on those particular things. That's what my coach approached it for me.
Well, now let's talk about the relationship of your age factor with the way you would approach a race like Spartan. So there were probably teenagers also, or this is only age specific race?
Not kids below the age of 18. I think it's open to those above the age of 18. So it's below that there is a children's groups also. So there were no teenagers, but yeah, you can say there were 18, 19-year-olds who were teenagers. There were a lot of younger people.
How was the energy overall in the environment?
It is just amazing. It is just amazing. I mean, when you get onto the course, everyone is shouting, everyone is encouraging you. I was very fortunate. I was part of a team with a couple of young people, Jimmy and Julia, and they were so encouraging.
What is the significance of having a team?
Significance is that they support you right through the race, and you can, of course, some teams prep together, but we didn't prep together. But they were younger. They could have done it a lot faster. They could have gone for time and time challenge and everything. But they chose to be with me right through the race. So that really helped me, you know. So that was the importance of the team part of it.
So relate your experience of what we call as enjoying life and having adventurous spirit. Do they kind of meet somewhere? Because if you are very much afraid of attempting to do anything new or anything that involves challenge, then probably you won't explore what the life has to offer.
I would agree with you. At the same time, as you mentioned earlier, I think the age factor got out of the answer because we were talking about the team factor. But being with younger people and doing these things, you do recognize that age is a factor. Like as an example, when we were running through mud, I was naturally much slower than everybody else because I was really conscious of the fact that I could slip, fall, and get hurt, and my injury would take a lot longer to recover than maybe some younger person's injury. So those kind of things do play a role in your mind. I just said take baby steps. Start with baby steps. Start doing the small things that are controllable. And once you start doing the controllable things, then you can keep expanding your universe and going into the things that are bigger and tougher and more enjoyable and more exciting to do.
The joy of talking to someone like Paresh in this situation after they accomplish some big for us physical challenge of this kind. The fun part is that somewhere in our subconscious we think if he can do it, I can also do it.
I believe you can.
Is,
I believe everybody can.
So,
but don't go about it doing tomorrow itself. But yes, so, definitely you can.
So we need to prepare, and as we move towards the concluding part of our conversation, what next for you?
What next? I think it's about, initially it's going to be about maintaining. Then it's about also doing this course a few more times to improve my timing. I mean, this course has a very unique one thing that if you cannot do an obstacle, it doesn't mean you didn't complete the course. But you have to take a penalty. You have to do some penalty workout. I mean, do some additional running or some additional exercises in place of that, which kind of in a way puts your time behind. But it doesn't mean you don't complete the course. So I want to try to aim for improving myself so that I can complete the course with completing all the obstacles. That's just one thing.
And lastly, while we were talking earlier, you said that initially when you start doing exercise, it may affect your thinking, where you may feel more sleepy. But gradually, how it affects?
It actually changes your whole metabolism and your whole thinking. I mean, for the whole day's pattern goes in fact, now it's gone quite the opposite. On the days on which I have not done my routine or my workout, the afternoons are lethargic and I cannot function. The energy levels sustain through the day because of the workout in the morning. So once you get into that, it becomes becomes an energy shot in the morning, which kind of sustains you. And I also find that it gives you better sleep, so that the better sleep is actually a bigger portion in being more energetic in the day.
So on that energetic note, as we conclude, I would just say that do what you like doing, what be physically fit, and we appreciate and congratulate this gentleman for having completed 5K Spartan. Lots of good wishes for you, sir. Namaste.
Thank you, Ashok.
Thanks for enjoying this conversation. This is Ashok Vyas. Namaste.